I am Nic Rohloff. This is Dolphins Today by Chat Sports, and we have a lot of news to discuss. Dolphins OTAs are currently happening. We only have one more day left on Thursday, with a day off on Wednesday. Monday, Tuesday was the first two practices of week 2, and there's a major news to discuss on injury front, on potentially having a trade front, and ultimately just how players performed at OTAs on Tuesday when Dolphins media was actually in attendance. The first piece of news is on Janu Smith, who is hot on the trade market right now. Jalen Ramsey, Janu Smith, the two players likely to be traded if they are traded. Well, maybe Janu won't, because Mike McDaniel, who spoke to Dolphins reporters and media members before OTA practice on Tuesday afternoon, spoke very highly of Janu Smith and how he actually hopes that Janu is still on the roster. We'll show what McDaniel said, but I have to stop with the disrespect here, because Texans Today host Jeremy Chuggs said that we couldn't get 400 likes on today's show. Help me out. Prove him wrong. Texans stink. We're going to take their playoff spot, hopefully, this upcoming year. Hit that thumbs up icon. Tells our bosses in YouTube that we're doing a good job. It also tells Jeremy Chuggs to go stick it where the sun don't shine. All right, let's get to David Furones, who had the initial quote here from Mike McDaniel, saying that Janu Smith, despite the trade speculation, the rumors, has been around during offseason workouts, and that could not make me happier, because I think when you start to see things really go ugly and point towards a trade inevitably happening, a la Jalen Ramsey, you will hear that the player, the front office no longer speak. You'll hear that the player is no longer in the building, no longer communicates with the coaching staff, because that tells you, well, yeah, both sides have completely cut ties and it's over. Well, that's what's happened with Jalen Ramsey. Like, he will be traded. But Janu Smith still being in contact with the coaching staff, the nutritionist in the building, just being in the locker room in general, tells me that there is a high possibility, or at least a slight chance, that Janu and Miami ultimately work this out. And it's clear that Mike McDaniel wants him to be in Miami. When asked about Janu, on if he predicts him to be on the team, if he wants him on the team, either way, Mike McDaniel says, I want Janu on the team. I want him to be here. In my experience in the business, you let that play out. So, yeah, Mike McDaniel is not partake in contract negotiations or trade discussions like Chris Grier and some of these other front office personnel members are. But this is Mike McDaniel, although he's probably already let Chris Grier know this, say in the media, say in the public light, I want him. So to me, that's telling Chris Grier, can you find a way to just pay him a couple more $1 million? Like, I also think he will be here. I think the Dolphins will ultimately keep Janu Smith. And in the moment on Thursday, if you go back and watch my reaction to Janu Smith allegedly being on the trade block, which it sounds like he is, I was very critical of the Miami Dolphins. I was just like, I get you don't want to extend a player that's entering 30 years old, had the best season of his career this late in his career. I understand not wanting to get married to a player that's a lot older. But he was just such a seamless and perfect fit in the Mike McDaniel offense. You got to keep good players. And could you not just bump him up $1-2 million this year? I don't think he's asking to break the bank. He just wants to make more than $4.8 million because his play is closer to a guy making, or should make, $8 to $10 million. So to me, I think Mike McDaniel wants Janu to be here. It's obvious that Janu also wants to be here based off what he said to the media via Adam Schefter, Drew Rosenhaus. His agent said on his weekly hit in the South Florida TV network, like, I think Janu wants to be here. I think that's obvious. Mike McDaniel wants him here, and I'm going to predict that he ultimately does play for the Dolphins in 2025. But let me get your predictions down in the comment section. It's a pinned comment. Will the Dolphins trade Janu Smith? Type T if you think they trade him. Type K if you think they keep them. I'm typing my Ks. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let's move over to another piece of news. Austin Jackson, he looks good. And we haven't talked about Austin Jackson a lot this offseason. The right tackle for the Dolphins, who had his season cut short last year with that shoulder injury that cost him half of the season, has battled through injuries a lot. Well, we just haven't heard if he's going to be ready, although it was highly anticipated he would be ready for training camp and for the preseason and for the regular season. Well, we could put all of those quiet speculations to rest, because reporters asked McDaniel about Jackson and if he's going to be ready for training camp, and Mike responded in a very nice way. If there's a more ready version of Austin Jackson, I'm super excited to see it. What does that tell you? he's going to be fully ready for training camp, preseason, and hopefully, barring another injury, we'll be ready to go week 1 against the Indianapolis Colts. And if I'll be honest, I didn't have any doubts about that. Whenever we've talked about the offensive line this offseason, there hasn't been any part of me that believes there was a world where Austin Jackson wasn't ready to go week 1 because of the injury he suffered last year. And he is going to be relied upon extremely, extremely big time this year. When you think about what Miami has on the offensive line, I think it's a better group than last year because you upgraded at left guard and right guard from Robert Jones and Liam Eichenberg to James Daniels and Jonah Savi-Inaya. You brought back Aaron Brewer. I know you downgraded from Teron Armstead to Patrick Paul, but I'm bullish on the second-year player from Houston. But when you think about who's been on this team the longest, who's the most accomplished offensive lineman on this group, it is Austin Jackson. So he's going to have to be the leader of that O-line. He's been here the longest. He's done what he's done at the highest level longer than anyone else because you got a first-time full-year starter, second-year guy in the program, Aaron Brewer, rookie Jonah Savi-Inaya. He's the leader of this group. It went from Teron Armstead, now it's Austin Jackson. He's got to lead these guys. And based off what I've seen since he's become the full-time right tackle at Miami, I think he's ready for the job. I think he is. Obviously, he missed out in half the season in 2024, but his 2023 campaign, which earned him that 3-year, $30 million plus extension, was pretty good. Yeah, the penalties are a little up, but he is important for more reasons than the ones we just mentioned, right? Why is that? Tua's a lefty quarterback, which means he has to protect Tua's blind side because Tua's blind side is on that right side where Savi-Inaya, where Austin Jackson project to be. So those right tackle and right guards mean a whole lot more than the left tackles and left guards in the Dolphins scheme and system because of Tua. So Austin Jackson needs to be ready to go. He needs to have a big year, and I hope he will, and I believe he will. Just need him to stay healthy. He'll be fully ready to go this year, week 1, which is good, and they're going to need him. Big year for AJ coming, hopefully. 2 more pieces of news to discuss here, but make sure you do subscribe for more off-season videos. We got weekly live shows on Tuesdays, and when Jalen Ramsey or Janu Smith will potentially get traded, Jalen for sure will, we will be going live on the channel. So join us today. Subscribe. Don't miss a piece of Miami Dolphins news. We got to talk about more Chop Robinson propaganda. He just continues to dominate, man. He is on a trajectory that only Dolphins fans could have dreamed of when we took him at the 21st overall pick in 2024. Because on Tuesday's practice, he was donning the orange jersey. Can't really tell by the social, but the Dolphins Twitter handle put out a video of Chop Robinson in an orange jersey and said, chopping up today. We talk about the orange jersey quite a bit here in the offseason because it showcases who had the top practice in the coaching staff's eye the day before. So Chop Robinson was the top performer on Monday's practice in the coaching staff's eye. And he was able to pick the playlist and be highlighted. But he just continues to dominate. Travis Wingfield, who was there watching the entire Tuesday practice for Miami, said that Chop had a sack and another pressure that forced a check down. He racked up pressures, hurry late in the day, relentless nature that kind of defies physics. Even if he gets hit to the ground, he could spring to his feet and stay in pursuit. This kid's special. He is. I cannot wait to see year 2 of Chop Robinson. He had such an unbelievable second half of the year where he was top 5 in the entire NFL from weeks 8 to week 18 in pass rush win rate, pressures. He just dominated, man. And when you factor in the fact he has dominated in week 2 of OTAs, he dominated in week 1, I think we're in for an unbelievable Chop Robinson second year. I really, really do. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, man. I am. Based off Chop Robinson's rookie year, what he's done early in this offseason program of week 1 and week 2 of OTAs, we're looking at potentially another franchise edge rusher that the Dolphins have on their hands. Cameron Wake, Jason Taylor. I am not afraid to say that Chop Robinson may be on that projection based off what he did his rookie season, just dominating in the second half of the year. Top 5 pass rush win rate, top 5 in pressures. You pair him up now with the veterans Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb returning from injuries that basically didn't play last year. He's going to get a lot of one-on-one looks. Chop is going to be a top 10, top 15 pass rusher in 2025 and might blossom into a franchise defensive lineman for this Dolphins roster and organization. We're going to finish up today's show here in a second, but make sure you get your Dolphins hoodies on clearance, on sale at chatsports.com/Dolphins sale. Links in the description and comments of today's video. 50% off. Sizes are running out, usually $75, right now $32. You just simply won't find another deal out there. They've got other great deals. If you click on that link too, by the way, chatsports.com/Dolphins sale. Grab yours today before they run out. All right, final piece of news I want to discuss. UDFA making a name for himself this week in OTAs. We haven't heard a lot of buzz about some of these rookies in OTAs just standing out and flashing, unfortunately. But we did hear Eugene Asante, the UDFA linebacker from Auburn, spent 3 years for the Tigers. Previous 3 years was at North Carolina. He intercepted his fellow rookie quarterback, Quinn Ewers. It was off a tipped ball. He made the play over the middle of the field. But this is why, in a player that I've talked about that could be a 53-man roster candidate from this UDFA class. And I like some of these UDFAs. Eugene Asante is certainly one of them. We've often talked about his speed. He ran a 4.48 40-yard dash at his pro day. And he has had an extensive special teams history. Played, I think, over 500 snaps in his career on special teams at North Carolina and Auburn. I think this is a legit roster candidate because when you think of what the Dolphins have at linebacker, they have their 4 guys set at the top. Jordan Brooks, Tyrell Dodson, Willie Gay Jr., and then KJ Britt. They kept 5 linebackers last year with Channing Tindall. Will they do it again? If they do 5 linebackers on the 53-man again, I'll tell you this right now, I'd rather take Eugene Asante over Channing Tindall. I would. Channing's been on this team after being a 3rd-round pick for 4 years now. This will be his year number 4. Just hasn't been good. He hasn't. And we know what we have in Channing Tindall. Why not keep a UDFA who could give you the same exact production on special teams and has that LB5 this upcoming year? Don't know what you got in him. So Eugene Asante, something early here with him that I want the Dolphins fans to keep an eye on. All right, a couple last notes to wrap up today's show here. Zach Wilson had a pretty good day on Tuesday. Threw an interception early. Ifeatu Melifonwu got him on the back end, but there was a lot of praise about him being able to fit some tough balls in the very tight windows. Jalen Wright had a 70-yard rushing touchdown. I know there's no tackling, but that's what was said. And then A.J. Henning, UDFA wide receiver, Northwestern. He had a pretty good day as well. Blended speed and route running was something on display according to some beat reporters there. So just another couple notes here to keep your eye on. Nothing I'm going to talk about extensively, but wanting to show the Dolphins fans some other news. That'll do it for today's show. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you have not already, hit that thumbs up icon. Completely free content here at Dolphins Today. If you don't want to subscribe, at least help us out by hitting the like button. Really does tell YouTube we're doing a good job, my bosses. And remember, I want to take down Jeremy Chuggs and Texans Today. They were talking too much nonsense, so help me out.